Woo! Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Today I want to talk about a very important topic, and that is expectations. It gets brought up a lot. Outcomes, expectations, our relationship to both concepts are rooted in our own suffering. Just think about it. You know, you're a kid, right? And you worked hard to make the basketball team, and guess what? You didn't make the basketball team, right? Your expectation was that you were going to make it, but you didn't end up making it. And what comes from that? Disappointment, resentment, etc. Okay? You know, we talk about a lot about expectations as it relates to an attachment to a relationship. Relationships are very complex because we are complex beings. Humans are complex beings. And oftentimes when I'm coaching people, relationships with others get brought up a lot. Meaning, hey, this person here did this to me and I felt this way because of what they did. I expected them to do something different. Well, hate to break it to you, homie, but anytime we have an expectation of someone else and they do not reach it, we're going to be disappointed, which has nothing to do with them, has everything to do with us. You got to remember, we are in charge of our own autonomy, our own sovereignty, and our own suffering. Not the rest of the world, not the other 8 billion people that walk this earth. So to say that someone else didn't do something that you wanted them to do, and thus now you are mad at them because you expected them to do different, only leaves you in a position of lower power, lower vibration, and just pissed off. And again, ego gets kicked into it. You're pissed off. You're walking around mad. You're maybe mad for a few days, whatever the case may be. When in all actuality, this did nothing but hurt you and nothing to do with them. Again, we almost have to look at this as if we're all individual planets that are just kind of walking around in space. At some point, we interact with another planet. I know it's kind of ridiculous to view it that way, but that's kind of the way humans are. We're our own entity that just happens to be walking around with other entities. We'll interact with some of them, and some of them we won't. But at the end of the day, the more expectations that we have upon others, the more chance that we get to be disappointed. Here's what you have to know about humans. Humans change their mind. No different than the amount of times they change their clothes, they change the car that they want to drive, the restaurant that they want to eat at. Humans change their minds. And humans do what humans want to do. So anytime we place an expectation upon someone and then they do not meet it, we are now in jeopardy of our own sovereignty, our own autonomy, and now we're creating our own suffering. So you're going to ask me the big question is, okay, well, what the hell is the point of having a relationship? Well, relationships require reciprocity, which makes this thing even more layered with complexity. Because if you don't have a reciprocal relationship, you really don't have a relationship. So for you guys that are in relationships, whether they be business, friendship, or intimate, and the other person on the other end is not offering the same that you are offering, you are not in a relationship. Period. Stop that. You've now become codependent on this individual because you're going to rise to the occasion, just like I talked about a few videos ago about being the hero in everybody's story. The world needs role models, not saviors. Nobody needs to come and save you. You can save yourself. So, what's the point of having a relationship? Well, the point of a relationship is to have two independent people who like each other enough to help each other out every now and then, communicate with each other, and have a good time together. Okay, a very simple way of looking at a very complex situation. But at the end of the day, there has to be reciprocity or there is no relationship. The difference here is you're not expecting the other person to do anything. If they supply the reciprocity, awesome. I've got a friend for life. If they don't, bye-bye. That is a boundary in which you would enact with that human being, protecting your own personal sovereignty, protecting your own self-esteem, protecting yourself as you move along in this world. So the more relation we have to these expectations of outcomes that we want to be a certain way, the more we have this relationship to expectations of how people should behave, the more opportunity we have to be disappointed. Attachment equals suffering. Period. Now, is this easy? No, it is not easy. This is a very difficult process because, again, we, all of us talking on this line, hearing each other, 8 billion people on planet Earth are human beings. We have wants and needs. We have an idea of the way we want something to be. The more we can detach from that expectation, the more easy and freer life becomes. It isn't about a protection necessarily, as it is about increasing our freedom and our internal peace. And the more we can invite people who are operating on that vibrancy, that frequency, the better our life is going to be. But the more we're hanging out with people that we do all the giving and they do all the taking, and then we create the resentment within ourselves because they're not doing this and they're not doing that, instead of just letting the relationship go and moving on because there's better relationships out there with better people, the more suffering we create. It's a topic that I'd like for you to think about, like for you to chew on. Is it about expectations? The expectations you have of others? I'm not talking about your children necessarily. That may be a little bit of a different energetic story. But I ask clients to be fully committed, but also fully unattached. Because the moment you become fully unattached to the result takes care of itself. Let me know if this was helpful, it spoke to you, landed in any which way. Write me in the comment section. Message me directly.